Alright, so for question 5, we're going to do the same thing as question 4. It's still asking us to write an equation for the line that contains the point 8, -5, and is parallel to the equation y equals 0.5x minus 8. So again, recap for parallel lines. Parallel lines need to have the same slope, but a different y-intercept. So the first thing is to identify the slope. My slope is going to be 0.5. However, kind of don't like the idea of dealing with decimals, so 0.5 can easily be written out as a fraction. So 0.5 is like a half. So we're going to write my slope being 1/2. So in order to go to step 2, I'm going to pick the point 8, -5, and my slope 1/2 and plug it into my point slope form. So step 2 is to plug it into my slope form, point slope form. So I know I have a y, I know I'm going to have an equal sign, and I know I'm going to have an x in the front with a number in the back. My slope is going to be 1/2, and my point is going to be 8, -5. So I do the opposite of what I see. Next to my y is going to be this -5, so the opposite of a -5 is a +5. So I'm going to put plus 5. My 8 is a positive in my point, so it's going to be the opposite, so it's going to say -8. So this is step 2, it's in our point slope form. So for step 3, I need to make it look like my slope intercept form. So step 3 is to make it look like y equals mx plus b, just like we have here. So my slope intercept form is going to be y equals mx plus b. So I need to transform my point slope form into slope intercept form. In order to do that, my slope intercept form does not have any parentheses, so I'm going to distribute that. I'm going to multiply 1/2 by the x. That means nothing is happening to my left side yet, so I'm going to write it down. Y plus 5, equals 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. 1/2 times a whole number. When I have a whole number, I want to kind of put it under as a fraction, just so I don't get confused on what is being multiplied with what. So 1 times a -8 gives me a -8. 2 times a 1 gives me a +2. However, this does simplify, so I can rewrite it like y plus 5 equals 1/2 x minus 2 goes into 8 4 times. From here, I can move this 5 over so I get the y by itself. And I am going to do the opposite of what I see here. So since I see adding, I'm going to subtract. This becomes a 0, so I get y equals, bring down my 1/2 x. Same sign, so I'm going to add and keep the sign, so it's going to be negative. 4 plus 5 gives me a 9, and this would be my final answer. So again, what did I do? I took my equation and I found out what my slope is going to be. My slope for a parallel line is the same thing. So I see a 0.5, so what I'm going to do is make it into a fraction just to make my life easier later on. So I made it into 1/2. For step 2, I plugged my slope and my point into a point slope form. So my slope goes in the middle, and I do the opposite sign than what I see in the point. So since I see a positive 8 here, I'm going to have a negative 8. Since I see a negative 5, I'm going to have a positive 5. We can distribute. Nothing happens to the left-hand side, so I'm just going to bring it down. 1/2 times x gives me 1/2 x. 1 times negative 8 gives me a negative 8. 2 times 1 gives me a 2. I can simplify that. 2 goes into 8 4 times. I'm going to do the opposite to be able to move it. So I do subtract 5 from both sides, and I get y equals 1/2 x minus 9.